and today I want to talk about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So I had a great time reading this book. I got really sucked into the world and it was really hard to put it down. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. Mysterious. Yeah, so basically it's like Faust. She makes a deal with the devil to live forever, but the price is that no one can remember her. They forget her face as soon as she walks away from them. There's a bunch of different rules to the curse, but basically no one remembers her. She can't leave her mark, she can't write, and she can't say her name, so she's constantly having to reinvent herself and lie about who she really is because she can't tell anyone the truth. No one can really know who she is. It's very sad. She's very lonely. She's a very interesting character, very well thought out, very detailed. I really enjoyed her as a protagonist. So this book had all of my favorite things: literature, art, poetry, history, nature, beauty, truth, freedom, love, music, humanity, just all of it. This book is basically a love letter to mortality, the human experience and everything that comes with it. It made me super grateful for my experiences that I've had, my family, my education, the places I've traveled to, the food I've eaten, the art I've appreciated. Addie, she has lived so long and she has learned to really appreciate all of those things. And she's had so many opportunities. She never ages, and so so many doors are open to her. Because people don't know who she is, she can kind of fade in and out, and she has all these opportunities to do things that she wants to do, and she lives a very full life. She really takes advantage of her immortality, which is good and refreshing because I feel like a lot of immortal characters in other media often take their immortality for granted. They just want to be mortal again, or they want to be dead. But Addie loves being alive. It's infectious, her love and zest for life. And that's not to say she hasn't experienced hardship. It's not to say that sometimes she really does get sick of it all, and it really takes its toll. People not remembering her, not knowing her. Obviously that's hard, but she really just lives life to the fullest, and that's very admirable. Because Addie is such an art fan, there are a lot of cool artistic moments in this book. At one point she goes to an art exhibit, like an art installation, it's interactive and has a bunch of different rooms and things that you can do. It's called The Artifact, and I wish it was real. I would love to go there. I would love to just explore it. It sounds like so much fun, so amazing, so creative. So yeah, I would love to go there. So another fun thing that happens, because the book takes place over hundreds of years, we get to see a lot of historical figures, a lot of real people from history make some fun cameos, including Shakespeare, Beethoven, Sinatra, Voltaire, lots of cool figures. So the only consistent relationship in Addie's life is the devil. He's not really the devil, he's like a god, like a force, like an ancient spirit, but he takes a human form, and Addie names him Luke, and they have this really super toxic relationship that would be totally unhealthy and I could not support in real life. But in fiction, it is so much fun to read. It is so entertaining. It's steamy. It's a crazy relationship. They're really the only two people on Earth that understand each other because they're both immortal. They rely on each other, and they hate that they rely on each other. And yeah, it's super toxic, but so fascinating to read. That's the main relationship in her life, the main constant. But then she meets this other guy, Henry, and he can actually remember her. They have a very sweet relationship. But I'm really glad that, spoiler alert, Addie says later in the book that she doesn't truly love Henry. She can't really call it love. And I was glad to read that because that's what I was thinking the whole time I was reading it. I was like, yeah, it's cute. Yeah, they have a connection. Yeah, it's sweet. But I wouldn't call it love. I'm glad that Addie, the character, acknowledged that because I wasn't buying it. Because the whole time, Henry's so in love. He keeps saying, oh, I love you, I love you. And Addie even says it, but she's not really meaning it. And then later she admits to herself that she doesn't really. So I'm just glad that she said that because I just didn't see it. I didn't see them as soulmates, as true companions, equals, partners, a lasting love that could go into the eternities. I didn't see that. So I'm glad that was acknowledged, because I just didn't buy it. And Henry himself, he has an interesting arc, interesting story. The book, of course, is mainly about Addie. So I'm glad we didn't spend too much time on Henry, because he's not the main event, you know. But another relationship that I would have loved, if that could have been forever somehow, is Addie meets this man named Remy back in France in like the 1700s. And he is so sweet and so kind, and their relationship is so cute, and their meeting is so cute, and just Addie and Remy forever, in my opinion. That's my main ship. That's who I wish it could have worked out, but you know, obviously she's immortal and he's not, so it could never work out. But I love the two of them together. That was definitely one of my favorite parts reading, was their little story. I wasn't sure how this book would end. I didn't know where the author was going with it, but I'm really glad that in the end, spoiler alert, Addie does leave her mark on the world. She is able to have her story told, and I'm so glad, because she definitely deserves that. And I love that we are told that Addie will best Luke in the end. I kind of like that we don't get to see it, because then it makes it feel more eternal, like the saga is ongoing and it's still happening right now. Like, because I think this book is in 2013 or 2014 or something. Let me double check. Yeah, 2014. Now that's 10 years later now, right? Like, it's 2024. And so I can still imagine that Addie and Luke are still battling, and he's still trying to get her to surrender her soul to him, and she's still being determined to just live forever. So I love that their battle is ongoing, and that they're still clashing, and I know that she will get him in the end, and that's a satisfying ending to me. I like that she laid out her plan for the reader, that she put down in detail what she's planning on doing, but acknowledge that it's going to take time, but that she has plenty of it. Time is the one thing she does have. Plus, I just love a good revenge story, and so I love that she has a plot, a plan, a detailed plan of how to get back at this devil. So I do have a few complaints, a few criticisms, and those are, one, that this book was a tad melodramatic for my taste. There were a few moments where I was like, okay, that's a bit much for me. And then two, it felt a bit on the nose sometimes. It kind of felt like the author was holding our hand, like walking us through the symbolism and the deeper meaning and the themes. And it's like, you don't really need to do that. Like, I'm pretty sure as a reader, I'm smart enough to figure out what you're going for. Like, there's actually a part where Henry is standing on the roof and he actually says it's a full circle moment. And it's like, I don't need you to tell me it's a full circle moment. I know it's a full circle moment because I've been reading the book, and I can see the symmetry of him standing on a roof at the beginning and standing on a roof at the end. Like, it just felt very on the nose, very obvious and unnecessary. So that is something I would criticize. This book is not flawless, it's not perfect. There are some things I would change, but overall, really fun, really good world building, and a fun concept, and yeah, I just had a great time reading it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.